Welcome to FilmSauce. I'm FilmSauce, and in this Sauce video we're looking at Back to the Future 3, released in 1990. Once again directed by Bob and written by Bob, Back to the Future 3 is the final film in the trilogy, capping off these time-traveling events. Back to the Future 3 shows the story of Marty McFly going back in time to the Western era to save his friend Doc Brown from death. Throughout this film, I'll also award or negate source points, and once we're done watching the film, I'll tally them up and compare them to the other films. On that note, let's start the finale to this epic trilogy. The film starts off on Saturday, November 12th, 1955 at 10:03 p.m, directly where the second film left off, with Marty telling Doc, a 1955 Doc, that he came back from the future, causing him to faint. We now cut to the title card that silently enters us to Doc's 1950s home, where Marty and Doc sleep until Doc wakes up, where he records a voice log about sending Back to the Future 1 Marty back to the future. But now our modern Marty greets Doc in turn, scaring him and breaking his back. Marty proceeds to explain the events of Back to the Future 2 and how 1985 Doc was sent to 1885. And they know all this because Doc's letter, which also told the duo that he was now a blacksmith, unable to return to 1985, and he hid the DeLorean in a mine for them to pick up so Marty can safely go back to 1985 and destroy it. Now Marty and 1955 Doc travel to the DeLorean's location, immediately blowing up. Now, in the mine, they discover the DeLorean, and while Doc mutters about Jules Verne, wow, what woman would ever find interest in this? Now outside the mine, the duo are towing the DeLorean, but not before Marty stumbles upon the Doc's grave, finding out Doc died by murder via Mad Dog Tannen, the ancestor of Biff Tannen, who was a cowboy gunslinger. This revelation made the duo agree to send Marty back to 1885 to save Doc from certain death. Doc and Marty go off to the country outside of Hill Valley, away from populated areas, where they prepare to time travel. Marty dresses in a ridiculous outfit, hops in the car, says his goodbyes to 1955 Doc, and pushes the gas to 88 miles per hour, traveling back to 1885, where he immediately runs over some Native Americans. Marty drives away from the natives until he finds a cave to bunker down in, where he watches the natives run away from the cavalry. Now safe from all the horse riders, Marty can relax. Never mind. Well, Marty loses the DeLorean and his boots to the bear, not before coming to the realization that he ripped the fuel line. Running away from the bear, Marty falls into a fenced-off property, getting knocked out. Now once again in a dark room, Marty thinks he is in 1985, but oh wait, who would have thought? He's actually in 1885. And in the McFly family household, where he's greeted by his great and so on grandmother, who for some reason is played by Leah Thompson, the same actress of Lorraine. But this is the McFly family. I don't know how I feel about the strange ancestral act. -1 source point. Now back in the act, Marty comes up with the name Clint Eastwood, which I think is a sweet little joke, +1 source point. Now Clint, walks around the home, meeting his family, Seamus and little baby William. But hey, the necessary family segment is over, and Marty walks into the town, looking like Seamus. And once again, Marty is starstruck by the town, but unlike part 2, it's not paste and copy, so that's a plus. Now Marty enters a bar where he gets mocked for his clothes and his time foreignness, with the mocking leading up to a gunslinging maniac calling out McFly's name. But hey, he thought it was Seamus, not Marty, so no harm, no foul. Besides the fact that Tannen went mad on Marty for calling him Mad Dog Tannen. So now we repeat the diner chase scene for the third time. But unlike Back to the Future 2, this doesn't feel like a cut and paste with it having a fun dancing, lassos and hangings. But before Marty could be hanged for his sins, he is saved by some blacksmith. Hey, it's Doc Brown. He calls out Tannen to leave. I actually enjoyed the scene, with it being a callback but not a direct copy like Back to the Future 2, so +1 source point. Now Marty and Doc are reunited, happy as ever to see each other, but Marty does have to drum the bomb to Doc about his death to Mad Dog Tannen. Back at the blacksmith, he also hears how the Doc was to pick up a schoolteacher, Clara, who seems to be a love interest for the Doc. Oh, and also, Marty casually tells Doc how the fuel line was cut, but no biggie. Wait, there's no fuel in 1885? Well, motherfucker. Now out in the country, the Doer grabs a time machine, testing out the speed of horses, which isn't fast enough. But hey, they continue to do the experiments on the DeLorean until it literally blows up, making them more screwed with a deadline of Doc's death looming over them within 3 days. But a light bulb goes off in Doc's brain with a train whistle. They can use the train to push the DeLorean with a need of a straight track, no carriages, and the flames of hell. Another catch, with the train track of choice cutting off over a cliff. And now some woman is about to tumble over said cliff, with the horses out of control. In a Doc action scene, he manages to catch the woman, free the horses before the cart falls into the ravine. But hey, this woman Doc saved turns out to be Clara Clayton, his supposed love interest, and person from the hit movie Trumpet of the Swan. But Clara was in fact supposed to fall off the cliff and die, with the ravine being named after her in the future. But I don't care, because Doc's love story adds some much needed sequel spice, so +2 source points. It's time to party. Music blaring, fireworks. Why? The clock tower was erected, and the clock itself is made, with Marty and Doc taking a nice photo, nice souvenir. Except with the party now in full swing, Marty checks out some pure American gun and frisbee. Funny joke, +1 source point. Doc falls in love with Clara more, taking her to dance to beautiful music. Oh no, Mad Dog Tannen and co's here, with Tannen holding on a tiny wee little gun that still packs a punch, and is about to pack a punch in Doc. But Marty saves the day using funny joke to knock Tannen's gun. But hey, that's the show, and Marty will back down. Never mind, he got called yellow, so now Marty has to duel with Tannen on Monday. But don't worry about it, Marty and Doc will be gone into the future by then. Now during the party, Doc and Clara are falling in love more, using that Jules Verne hates saying this word, but Riz. And now they kiss. Booty. In town, Doc and Marty see the tombstone of Doc's, but it's no longer Doc's, so fuel. But they still have the same date on it, and Marty possibly being the dead one. We also explore how Marty, always been stupid when big cold names, affects his future, making Marty reflect upon himself. While Doc wonders if he should leave with Marty or stay with Clara, ultimately deciding to go with Marty. So now he tells Clara he must leave, telling her he is from the future. Well, obviously she doesn't believe this, so they break up after 1 day. There are elementary school relationships that last longer than this. With the breakup, Doc is now depressed, so he decided to get drunk, giving up on life and spitting out about the future, making the townsfolk have a good laugh till morning. Talking about morning, it is now the day of Marty's duel and the day of the time machine use. Marty catches up to Doc in a bar, convincing him to go back to 1985, using +10 charisma. Doc decides to leave with Marty again, once and for all. He takes up a sip of alcohol and gets knocked out after his first drink. In a tense scene, Marty and the bartender try to wake up Doc with a type of cocktail, while Mad Dog Tannen waits outside to duel. Clara, now also depressed, takes the train away, but hears a man talk about Doc feeling depressed. So she figures, hey, he still loves me, and was telling the truth about being from the future. So now she goes to find Doc. Back in Hill Valley, Doc wakes up with the duo going through the back door to escape, but they were caught with Doc being captured. Now Marty has 1 minute to show himself or Doc gets his brain blown out. Time ticking down to zero with Marty now showing himself, ready to duel, making the strange choice of dropping his gun. So Tannen shoots him, ending the movie. But wait, when Tannen goes to inspect the body, Marty kicks the gun out of Tannen's hand and reflects Tannen's punch with a chest of steel. Literally. Marty uses his movie knowledge he saw in Back to the Future 2 and used it, +1 source point. Marty knocks Biff out, breaking the tombstone and landing Tannen and Manure. A classic, +1 more source point. Tannen being arrested now for a robbery, the duo have no problem left in 1885, so they can safely travel to the train. On horseback, Eastwood and the blacksmith jump onto the train, hijacking it for time travel use. Doc and Marty disconnect the carriages, go on the straight track, and for the final step, they got the flames of hell, so without problem they should be able to travel back to the future. Didn't say present for once. Marty is in the DeLorean on the moving train, while Doc is in the middle of the train, hopping up to the DeLorean, but comes to the realization that Clara is on board. With her now in danger of falling off the cliff, Doc guides Clara out of the train towards the DeLorean, but the train explodes, knocking Clara upside down, holding on by a dress. Marty passes Doc the hoverboard, who successfully saves Clara and floats away, unable to go into the time machine before it teleports back to 1985. This was a great climax, +2 source points. Marty, for the final time, has come back to 1985, where the DeLorean is immediately destroyed, removing any hope to go back in time again to bring Doc back. Marty runs back to the Lion Estates, where he finds that everything is perfectly fine, besides the fact that Marty's siblings look like they've aged 5 years, and George is still not George. At least Jennifer's fine though. Marty takes Jennifer in his car, where he meets Needles from Back to the Future 2, but younger. And you know how it goes, Needle calls Marty chicken, challenging him to a race, which Marty doesn't enter, with him doing an equally dangerous stunt backwards. But this time he does get into a car accident, saving his rockstar career. Marty and Jennifer return to the time machine wreckage at Eastwood Ravine, named after Marty's 1885 name. That's a nice detail, +1 source point. Anyway, Marty's sad that Doc will never come back. Never mind. Doc is back with a time-traveling train, Clara and 2 children. As one final gift, Doc gives Marty the picture they took back in 1885. And now Doc, in his train, flies away to the credits, ending this trilogy. That was Back to the Future 3, the final film in the trilogy. Until people get money hungry, I'd say this film is indeed the last one. And I'd also say that this film perfectly caps off the story, but does it perfectly pop off at the source points. Back to the Future 3 gained a total of 9 source points, but oh no, there's some overdue date soy sauce with 1 point negated, making Back to the Future 3 have a total of 8 source points, being 2 less than Back to the Future 1 and 2 more than Back to the Future 2, making this film perfectly lay in the middle. And that was FilmSauce Back to the Future 3. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and liking, and maybe I'll see you again. Goodbye.